The border, as you know, is a major issue in this country, and it should be, with the drug cartels, the slavery that's taking place, not just sex slavery, labor slavery, just slavery like we've never seen in this country since the era of slavery. This is a purposeful policy of Joe Biden's, and he's going to go down to the border and he's going to say it's Trump's fault and the Republicans' fault. If they only would have passed my legislation, this would all be fixed. Blood Money, Why the Powerful Turn a Blind Eye While China Kills Americans. And this book is available right now on every platform, that is, every retail store, every internet store, Amazon.com. It's #1 in the country, and it's #1 for a reason. It's the substance. All right, let's get into some of this. Very, very important. The border, as you know, is a major issue in this country, and it should be, with the drug cartels, the slavery that's taking place, not just sex slavery, labor slavery, just slavery like we've never seen in this country since the era of slavery. This is a purposeful policy of Joe Biden's, and he's going to go down to the border and he's going to say it's Trump's fault and the Republicans' fault. If they only would have passed my legislation, this would all be fixed. But you make it clear as you read through the book and some of your statements now, no, that's not right. In many ways, the Biden family is bought and paid for by the Communist Chinese. So they'll criticize them to a point, they'll do something to a point, but they're not going to do something really to rock the boat, because the Chinese may have a lot of information on the Biden family that the Biden family doesn't want public, no?
No, you're exactly right, Mark. And I'll give a very specific, vivid example. I have a section in the book at the beginning, as you know, about fentanyl. And China's involvement in every link in the chain of fentanyl reaching the United States. In early 2021, there was a congressional commission that reported to the Biden administration, to the White House, that there are 2,000 Chinese nationals just south of the border, just south of the U.S. border in Mexico, in a small town, 2,000 Chinese nationals that are helping the Mexican cartels create fentanyl to smuggle across the border. This came out in early 2021. That report was issued by this congressional commission, and guess what? The Biden administration said, we're going to open up the border anyway. That to me is the epitome of negligence, criminal negligence, because what you're essentially saying is, we know this is a systematic effort. We know that fentanyl is coming. We know that tens of thousands of Americans are dying every year. People that don't even know they're taking fentanyl. It's taking our best and our brightest. And our agenda is more important than actually protecting the American people. So, Joe Biden is not going to do anything to challenge the Chinese. He refuses to even confront them verbally about what they're doing with the fentanyl trade. The last time he talked to President Xi, he said he brought it up, but there was no finger pointing, which is just an outrageously ridiculous thing to say. And his Secretary of State has even claimed that, well, some of the precursors, chemical precursors coming from China that go to create fentanyl probably were sent by the Chinese by accident. This is the kind of ludicrous comments that we're getting out of this administration. Meanwhile, China continues to kill 100,000 Americans every year. Fentanyl poisoning is now the leading cause of death in the United States for people under the age of 45. And Joe Biden doesn't even want to mention it or confront the Chinese about it.
Let me put it in my way. What you seem to be suggesting here is that Joe Biden is one of the greatest facilitators of the sale and use of fentanyl in the United States of America, given his policies, #1. And he's also one of the greatest, as the left calls them, slavers in American history, given his border policies and the fact that unknown infinite numbers of women and children are being sold into sex slavery and pornography. And he doesn't lift a finger to stop it. In fact, he does nothing except open the border and allow it. Have I overstated the case?
If you look at the human cost of the open border, human cost to Americans, human cost to women and children, the body count is astronomical. It's fentanyl, but it's also other things that are coming across the border as well. I mean, I talk in the book about these devices. They're called Glock switches. It's about the size of a quarter. It's not very big. but it's a device that if you put it into a Glock handgun, it turns it into a fully automatic machine gun. Now, I'm a huge Second Amendment advocate. I actually have a federal permit to actually own a legitimate machine gun, so I love the Second Amendment. But what's going on here, Mark, is the Chinese are smuggling these across the border from Mexico into the United States. And our government says they are specifically targeting these devices to criminal gangs in the United States, drug dealers, gang leaders, with the design purpose to sow violent chaos on America's streets. And the rate of machine gun fire in the United States over the last 5 years has gone up more than 5,000% in America's cities. You can go on YouTube and simply search for Glock switch police, and you are going to see horrific videos of police officers across the United States driving down the street, and suddenly they're subjected to machine gun fire. And these are gang members using these Glock switches that are being produced in Mexico with China's help and being smuggled across the border into the United States, into the open border. So it's fentanyl, it's the slavery, it's the sex trafficking, it's Glock switches. It is a horrible brew that is killing and poisoning all sorts of people, and Joe Biden is not doing anything about it.
Want to see more? Sign up for Levin TV.